we've heard this word moratorium of foreclosure being thrown around in the news, and it was put in place at the beginning of the pandemic, and it's been extended a couple of times. My understanding, as I sit here today, is that the federal foreclosure moratorium is set to expire at the end of this month on March 31st. Now, I know there's talk about extending it to June, and there may actually be something in the works like that with Congress right now. But as I understand it right now, it only extends through the end of March. Sam, can you tell us what a moratorium means?
Yeah, so moratorium in this instance is either an eviction moratorium or foreclosure moratoriums. And that's where there have been some guidelines either from the feds or the specific states indicating that you cannot proceed with a foreclosure action or you cannot proceed with evicting someone from a residential rental unit during this moratorium. So those are typically in this context, that's what we're talking about.
And that's different than forbearance, right? We're talking about people that are behind.
Yes.
So the government's just saying you can't foreclose or evict them and remove them from their home right now, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Brent, down where you are, I was speaking with your office, and I've been told that some of the judges are ignoring the moratorium, or at least making people jump through extra hoops to stay in their home. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on down there?
That's right. So they are proceeding with evictions in our area. There are some CDC forms that people can fill out and request that the moratorium be recognized in their case, but the courts are not providing those, and the judges are going forward with them just like it's not in place.
Have you had the same experience, Sam?
Yeah. So in Kentucky, you can now be evicted for non-payment of rent. And the courts will allow a foreclosure action provided it's not a federal backed mortgage, right? So the federal government has said no moratoriums on federally backed mortgages, right? Because they can control that. But for those that aren't backed by the feds, those mortgages, you can be foreclosed. And then also tax foreclosures in Kentucky. We're a judicial foreclosure state, so you got to go to court. If you didn't pay your real estate taxes and somebody bought that tax bill, they can file a foreclosure action. We can stop it through a bankruptcy, so call a lawyer, but they can do that in Kentucky.
Yeah, it's very similar here in Pennsylvania. And what we were seeing from the beginning of the pandemic and the beginning of these eviction moratoriums through about October of 2020, when a tenant would get sued, the court would mail with the lawsuit a copy of the CDC paper and basically tell them, hey, if you fill this out, we can't evict you. What I can tell you now is they've stopped that. And the courts here in Pennsylvania will still honor the CDC moratorium paperwork, but they're no longer guiding people to it. They're no longer providing it to you. You have to bring it yourself, or you have to specifically ask for it and fill out the forms. And they will honor it if you do that. But otherwise, you're out. And you're right. The moratorium that the federal government put on foreclosures is only for federally backed mortgages. Those Fannie Mae's and Freddie Mac's, those type of mortgages, or the USDA loans, but not your conventional, Chase Bank or Wells Fargo mortgage. Now, I've seen a lot of those banks following suit and they're holding off, but there's nothing that requires them to.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. You really need to talk to a local attorney if you want to do this type of financial planning. You want to talk to an attorney that knows about credit, debt, bankruptcy, real estate, and how all of those things interplay. And when we say, at least here in my office, and I believe it's the same for the two of you, when we say that we offer a free consultation with no strings attached, we absolutely mean that. It's 100% free consultation. You come in, ask questions, know your rights, get to know what your options are, and then make a decision. The only catch to a free consultation with my office is we might follow up with you again afterwards through some email or a phone call to check on you. But other than that, it's an absolutely no obligation consultation. We're not going to, pull any money out of your pockets. We're just going to tell you what you want to know.